Hello, my name is Richard. This is Over and Over, the Arsenal Women's Channel. We are a day late this week. It's my fault. I actually thought Andreas was flying over to London for the game tomorrow, but apparently he wasn't. So we could have had the show yesterday. I hadn't set anything up, but we're doing it now. Obviously, we've just watched the men's team, the men's game as well. So that's why it's a little bit late, but we are here. Lots to get through, of course. The Manchester United game, the frustration, of course, that we had there. We're going to look back on that. It's a massive, massive week of cup football, isn't it? We've got the Subway Cup. We've got the FA Cup tomorrow, of course, Aston Villa in the Subway Cup semi-final on Wednesday. So big, big week for the team. Are we going to come out of this with two big victories? Let's get into it. And there he is, you see. I told you he wasn't flying into London. He's here. Andreas is with us. How you doing? I do apologise for yesterday. I just assumed you was flying and we couldn't do a show. But anyway, we're here now. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. And Richard, glad to be here. I had to make a decision whether I want to go to London for the both cup games, Villa and United, or for the Women's Champions Cup in Brentford and at the Emirates. I couldn't do both, so I decided to go for the Champions Cup because this is a unique thing, and League Cup and FA Cup is every year. So yeah, it was a hard decision, but that's the reason why I'm home.
No, well, that's fair enough. I mean, I think you could say that's the right decision. Probably the FA Cup's got a long way to go anyway if we beat Aston Villa. And of course, I know it's a semi-final with a Subway Cup, but it's not our biggest priority this season of all the trophies we've got to play for, I suppose. But anyway, I'm sure the Champions Cup is going to be something, like you said, unique and very special. So it's going to be great to be there for, hopefully, for the final. We're in the final. Let's hope we are. But we can talk about that obviously in next week when it comes round. But of course, we can only really start this week with the game last weekend, the return of the WSL. Exciting we were for it, of course. Manchester United coming to the Emirates, but unfortunately the game didn't quite work out the way we all hoped. Now, as the caption said there, opportunity missed. To me, that's what this was. Manchester United are a good side. Let's not pretend any otherwise. They've got some good players. They're close to us in the league, and it was a big game. But in the circumstances, and I think that the one thing that came out of that game for me was that if Chelsea played Man United at home and Man United had 10 players for half an hour, Chelsea would win that game. They're more ruthless than us, and I think we've maybe got better individual players in certain positions than them. I think we're more pleasing on the eye to watch as a team, but Chelsea are more ruthless and they don't let those opportunities go by the wayside. That's why they win title after title. That's why they win what they win. And okay, you could say we don't know what would have happened if that was Chelsea playing Man United with 10 players, but I'm almost certain Chelsea would have found a way to win that game one way or the other. They would have found a way to score a goal and win it. And we wasn't able to. And to be honest, I didn't really think we created enough really good chances anyway. I mean, the goalkeeper played quite well. You mentioned on your videos last week, Andreas, didn't you, how good the goalkeeper is? We've seen it for ourselves, other games as well. And she had a great game. But I don't think over the 95 minutes I don't think we created enough opportunities. In fact, you could say Man United had the best chance very early in the game. A great save from Annika Balba right at the start of the game, pushing that one onto the bar. So I don't know. I suppose if you look at the game over 90 minutes, a draw was probably a fairish result. United had a decent start to the game. They kept themselves in it. They worked hard after going down to 10 players, and we maybe didn't quite do enough to win the game. And that was a frustrating thing for me because that was such an opportunity, not only to get some breathing space for Manchester United on us, but also we would have gone above Chelsea temporarily for the day, put a little bit more pressure on them, get closer to Manchester City before they had played. And I don't know. It just seemed to fizzle out that game in the end. I don't know. I was really frustrated with how we played. We just didn't. I know it's the first game back, but for me, we didn't show the urgency of a team that needed to win that game. And it's a big opportunity when they got the red card. I mean, Andreas, obviously you were in the stadium. You did the vlog, which was fantastic. Did you get that feeling that we could have played for another week? I couldn't see us scoring in that game, even after they went down to 10.
Exactly, that's the point. It was one of those games after which you say we could have played 90 minutes more and would still not score. But anyway, it was a strange game. Two, or you can say three parts. The first part, the first 10 minutes, United started so good. And I was really scared. And I thought, what's happening? Why are they in control? Why are they moving forward and try to create something or score an early goal? So the first 10 minutes were really scaring. And this fantastic save from Anneke Borbe, you just mentioned it. I saw it in. When this cross came in and Rolfe's header, I saw it in. And then Borbe saved it to the crossbar, and somehow we managed to bring the ball out of the box. But this could have been the lead for United, and you don't know how the game develops then. But from the 10th minute, we started to get the game under control, and then we were the better team. And at halftime it was 0-0, and you could say we are not doing enough or not creating enough. There was not these chances where I say you must score out of these chances. It was we were in control of the game, but not creating enough. And then the third part of the game was after the red card, which was absolutely correct decision to give her a second yellow. And Jade Riviere is a very good defender, so I don't know what was going on in her mind. She was booked, and then to make such a tackle, it was just the correct decision. And from this moment on, United was not existing in this game. We are critical against our team, against Arsenal. But if you see United, a team competing for a Champions League spot, being on 4th position, just playing in the Champions League this season, and then for the last 30 minutes doing nothing for this game but defending. They just kicked the ball out of their box or tried to keep us away from their box, and there was no attempt from them to create anything by their own. 3 minutes before the red card, Lea Schuller was subbed in, the newly signed striker from Bayern Munich. And it was senseless that she was on the pitch because there was nothing coming to her. She's very good in counter-attack. She's a fast player. They didn't use her. So it was disappointing from United. And what did we do in these 30 minutes? We were just playing handball round the box. Yeah, as you can see in the Euros of handball and in Scandinavia right now, when the team's playing around the box, just around and trying to find space, but it was too slow, no ideas, and that's the problem. We didn't create anything. And yes, Fallon Tullis-Joyce, I rate her very much, the goalkeeper from United. The very few balls that came into her box, she saved it, and there was no doubt that she could make a mistake or something like that. But she didn't have to do a wonder save or world class save. There was no real goal threat, no real chances. And as I said a few weeks ago, sometimes we are playing like in American football. We are trying to have a touchdown, to carry the ball over the line. That's not necessary. Shoot, try something. Bring this in. With more pace and ideas. And it was so easy for United to defend. And in the end, you could say it was disappointing 0-0. But as you said at the beginning, just a missed opportunity. When you play at home against a direct opponent, you should win. And you play 11 against 10 for 30 minutes, you should win. You should collect the 3 points. And if you look at the next games, We are playing Chelsea, we're playing City. So the possibility to fall behind United is now extremely high. So more than a missed opportunity. It brings us in a weaker position in competition for the third place. Yeah. After the game, I was really disappointed, and it felt like a lost game. Although it was only lost 2 points, but yeah.
No, I agree. It did feel like a loss, and in some ways, I suppose, like you said, because of what games we've got coming up, we're going to have to play a lot better in both of them games, or in all our games coming up, really, because in the cup competitions as well. Because I don't know. We seem to be. I mean, if this was just a one-off game, because it can happen sometimes. We've seen Chelsea dominate a game in terms of possession and can't break the team down and end up drawing 0-0. It happens sometimes, even to teams like Chelsea, Barcelona. Look in the Champions League final, the possession they couldn't score a goal. We defended for our lives, and it can happen in the odd game, and you can almost expect it in the odd game. But unfortunately for us, it isn't just the odd game now. It's happening. It's happened a lot, and it's a recurring theme. We're very good at keeping possession of the ball, but it never leads very far. And you're right. We're almost like, sometimes it feels like we're trying to score the perfect goal, and the perfect goal doesn't exist. A tap in from a yard is just as good as a goal that you've done 50 passes and you've scored from outside the box. It doesn't matter how you score a goal, really. A goal is the same. They're worth the same amount of points if you get one goal from however you score it. So yeah, it's something that I've noticed. It's been slowly creeping more and more into the way that last season. I guess you've all been watching that documentary on the Champions League, that is coming out, which is fantastic. But what it showed was last season, the team were playing with more freedom. We were scoring more goals because we were playing to score goals. We wasn't just settling for keeping the possession of the ball. We were actually looking to create chances and score goals, and we were looking to do it all the time against everybody. And that's what we're not doing enough this season. There hasn't been many games this season that we played like that. And is it a pressure now on Renee because we won the Champions League? Are other teams defending differently against us? Maybe certain teams have, but we've got enough quality players, certainly in the attacking end of the pitch, to be able to break teams down and create more chances and ultimately score more goals. And that Man United game, if it was a one-off, I'd have thought fair enough, it happens, not a problem, but it's not. This is a theme, and that isn't going to be the last time we watch a game like that and we come away from it thinking we're not doing enough. We're having a lot of the ball and we're not doing enough with it in terms of creating chances and scoring goals and winning enough games. And yeah, I was really frustrated with that, because it was in this particular game against, like you said, against a rival team that we're competing with for the top three, if nothing else. We're at home. They've got 10 players for 30 minutes. You've got to take the opportunity. You've got to. Every other top team would take that opportunity and win that game. Man City would have won that game. Chelsea would have won that game. Most of the teams in the Champions League, given the same set of circumstances, would have won that game. And we didn't do enough to win it. If we'd been unlucky, if we'd maybe had 5, 6, 7 really good chances, the goalkeeper's making great saves, defenders are throwing themselves in the way of stuff, you can maybe think, okay, fair enough, we was a bit unfortunate. On another day, we get 2 or 3 of them in. But I never felt that. I never ever felt we were going to score in that game once it went down to 10. You're right, Man United stopped playing, but why would they do anything else? They've got 10 players. A draw away at Arsenal was a great result for them with 10 players. They were quite happy just to see the game out and hope for the draw. That's all they wanted, and that's what they got. But we made it too easy. I think we made it too easy for them to get that point. We should have punished them for the red card. We should have done, and we didn't. And like you said, the next few games are going to be really, really crucial for that. And those 2 points that we've dropped there at the end of the season may prove to be really important 2 points, couldn't they? They could well be now. But, at the end of the day, it may be that 1 point it turns out to be a good point as well. But either way, I still look on that as 2 massive points dropped. Big opportunity missed. And it's happened too many times. It keeps happening. And I don't know, Renee's got offered this new contract, which you could say she's deserved. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. But she's got to do more. We've got to we've got to go back to how we were playing, more like we were playing last season, because that's disappeared. I don't know where it's gone. I don't know where it's gone. You know, we've got largely the same team. Okay, we've got Olivia Smith come in, who's a little bit more off the cuff, can do something out of the ordinary, and we're looking like nowhere near as good a team, nowhere near as fluent, especially in a we're just not. And we still look a little bit shaky at the back at times as well. Like you said, we could have been a goal down very early in that game, and who knows what would have happened if we'd conceded that goal. I don't think we get a point. We'd probably lose. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not enjoying the way we're playing at the moment. Really, much of this season, there's not been many games when I've looked back on. I thought, you know what, I really enjoyed that game. It's been the odd one or two, yeah, of course there has, but not many. Last season, how many games were there that you just enjoyed them? It was just brilliant football, exciting goals, chances. You never knew what was going to happen almost. And now we've become. There's a comment in the chat there from Matt. He says too predictable. Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah. Exactly. That's what we are. We are too predictable now, and it's like that to watch the game. We know what's going to happen 9 times out of 10. Everybody knows how we're going to play. And last season we didn't really. It was all a little bit exciting. It was off the cuff. We were just doing stuff, and it was working, and we were scoring, and it was brilliant. And now it's become very, very samey. And you're right, it is too predictable, and that sums it up pretty well, actually. That is what it is. It is too predictable, and it's not going to be enough, is it? It's not enough.
And I can't agree with the subs Renee made. She brought on Stina, and she brought on Caitlin. And it was 2 minutes before the red card. But anyway, United was defending, and we were dominating them. And for me, it was totally wrong to take Olivia Smith off, because she was the only player who was creating something and going into 1 versus 1 or bringing crosses in. She's one who does the surprising things and is not predictable. Sometimes she takes a shoot from 20 meters outside, and don't take her off. She was one of our best players. And then bringing on Stina, I know that's hard for you to accept, but for me, this is not a game to bring on Stina. Her strength is the runs to make behind the defenders and counterattacks, or just bring in the pace. But if a team is defending like United did with 7-8 players in their own box, where should Stina make her runs? It's not possible. It's not a game for her. And therefore, the subs were pre-planned. That's more and more my opinion. Renee pre-plans her subs. After 60 minutes, I bring on Stina, and I bring on Beth. I take off Frida, and I take off Olivia, and then she does it, no matter how the game develops. And so this was also miscoached for me. And of course, it was done before the red card, 2 minutes before. Unlucky, but even in the 63rd minute, it was wrong to make these 2 subs. So critics against Renee at this moment.
No, I mean, I agree. And again, it's not the first time. If these things were happening very, very rarely, we could turn around and say that, it happens, doesn't it? Nobody's perfect. No team plays perfect football every single game. No manager makes all the right decisions all the time. Even Pep gets things wrong. Emma Hayes got things wrong. The best managers still get things wrong from time to time. But what they don't do is they don't make the same mistakes constantly over and over and repeat them, which is unfortunately what Renee has been doing. Like you said, with the substitutions. I kind of agree with you. I thought that, okay, yeah, you're right. She brought Stina on when it was 0-0 and they still had 11 players. And actually, at the time, I thought that was probably a wise move because, Stina's got a decent goal scoring record against Manchester United anyway. And I felt as though we were crying out for something different. But like you said, 2 minutes later, they're down to 10 players. There's no space for Stina after that. And it was almost pointless having her on the pitch. But she'd already come on at that point. And it was unfortunate time. And I think had Renee waited 5 minutes, had the red card happened, I don't think she would have brought Stina on for that very reason. Maybe the last 5 minutes and just lob things into the box and try something different. But I don't know. She was a bit unlucky with that, but I agree. Olivia Smith shouldn't have come off because she was the only player that looked like she was going to cause some problems and create something for us. Was she running out of steam? Is her fitness still not quite there? I don't know. We don't know that kind of information. Maybe that's why, but I'd have kept her on certainly a bit longer. And and seeing what happened. But yeah, it's again, I say it's not the first time that she's doing it. I mean, Matt's got an interesting point here, which I actually wasn't aware of. Matt says, yeah, we've not won an opening New Year WSL game over the last 5 seasons. Wow, is that true? I hadn't thought about it. Maybe it must be true if Matt said it, because he knows his stuff. But that's an unbelievable statistic, that, isn't it? 5 years in a row now we haven't won our first game back after Christmas. That's interesting, isn't it? That is interesting, actually. Why would that be? And they haven't always been. I mean, obviously, Man United at home's a tough game. They haven't always been tough games, have they? The game back after Christmas always in the WSL. So I don't know. That's interesting, actually, Matt. We'll have to look into that and see if we can discover why that might be the case. Are they not preparing properly when after the break? Are they not fully prepared for it? I know usually it's a cup game first, isn't it? I mean, the FA Cup's a bit later this year, but quite often it's a cup game, isn't it? And then it's the league game. I don't know, but that's an interesting stat. That actually, I wasn't aware of that. Andy's with us. He says, "Good evening, Richard, Andreas. How you doing, Andrew? You're doing well. You haven't fell asleep after that men's game." Top Shelf says that we had 3 good chances. Well, no, but we sort of did throughout the game, I suppose, but when they were down to 10 players, we didn't do enough for me to win that game. I didn't think we didn't do enough to win it. And that's where we went wrong. And it's 3 good chances when you're playing against 10 players enough. Obviously not, because we didn't score. But it can be enough if you take one of them, I suppose. We've got a resident Chelsea fan. Chelva says, Thompson scoring every week like it's a routine now. Kerr's just back and she's already surpassed Aggie Beaver-Jones in goal contributions this season. Well, yeah, obviously Sam Kerr coming back is massive, isn't it, for Chelsea? If Kerr keeps this up, she'll be ahead of Russo by the end of the season. Well, maybe. I don't think so personally, but anyway, Chelsea, since the Everton loss, we've averaged 5 goals per game. Yeah, see, that's the thing, isn't it, with Chelsea? The one thing you can say is that they occasionally they'll throw in a terrible game, or not even a terrible game, but they have a bad result. They'll lose, like the Everton game, but then they bounce back like that. We have a poor game, and then we have another poor game, and 2 weeks later we'll have another poor game, and that's the difference, isn't it? Chelsea don't forget the poor games and just go on a run. They do it all the time. We don't. We'll have one poor game, and it will lead to others very close together, and you can't afford to do that and be successful. And that's what I said before. That's the difference with Chelsea. They're ruthless. They've got that mentality different to us. I say maybe if you look at the players, we maybe got some better players in Chelsea. I think is our squad better in certain areas, maybe in other areas, maybe not. But the biggest difference between us and Chelsea, and we'll probably see that next week, is in mentality, and is in that's the biggest difference. There's not much difference, I don't think, between us and them in terms of the quality of the team. It's the mentality that makes a difference, and that's why we very rarely beat them. And when we do beat them, on the occasions that we do beat them, like in those cup finals, the reason why we beat them in those cup finals is because we had that in that one game. We had that mentality that we don't have enough in the rest of the season that Chelsea do. But yeah, but at the end of the day, we need to fix that. And Matt says, panics at the end, bringing on Vic too late. Yeah, he looked a bit panicky, didn't he? I agree with it. It did seem to be a bit of a panic. And that's happened again before, isn't it? Renee's not sure what to do. She needs to do something. So she does something. Is it always the right thing that she does? I'm not sure if it is. On the move says, how long ago was it when we all heard Russo can't stop scoring? What's changed? Yeah, she's not scoring as many goals this season. Absolutely not. But then nobody is for us. We're not scoring enough goals. We're not creating enough chances. And is that just down to Leslie individually? No. Is her form as good as it was? Probably not. But the team around her aren't playing as well, are we? The football we're playing isn't as good. And she's not going to score as many goals when we're not playing as well as we were in the final third. I think that's the reason. I mean, obviously, and as Leslie's form this season hasn't been as good, there's no question. She's not playing as well this season as she was last season. Is it a bit of a hangover from the Champions League and obviously the Euros? Has that been a little bit of an issue? She's played a lot of football in the last few years without much of a rest as well. Is she a little bit fatigued? But she's not quite as effective, is she, this season?
That's right, but she's not playing as a real number 9 or in the box. She's everywhere in midfield, on the wings, and that's the problem. She's trying to create something. She's the one who gets the ball when you don't know where to pass or where to bring the long balls. Give it to Leslie. She's able to protect the ball. Yes, she is, but then she's not in the box. And another big miss is Chloe. Yeah, of course, she was only playing for 6 months for us. But you see, and if you saw the documentary, you saw what big influence she had or impact she had last season, and we are really missing her. We miss her, her energy, her crosses, her pace. That's small points that one adds to another. To say something positive, the debut from Smilla Homburg was very good. She was only 10 minutes on the pitch, and she hadn't to prove anything in defense because United was not existing in our half. But the way she went forward and tried to create something, tried to bring in crosses or her pace, this was really encouraging. And I think we will see a lot more from Smilla. Let's see how she defends when opponents do more than United did. But she was one of the positive highlights in these last 10 minutes, and she nearly created an assist for a goal. Of course, as I said, it was not the 100% chances or the world-class saves from Tullis Joyce, but Smilla was one of the players who created something, who tried something. Her pace was good, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing more from Smilla. I mean, she's 19 years young, so a prospect for the future.
No, absolutely, yeah. I thought she looked really, really sharp when she came on, and yes, she'll get a bigger test defensively. Absolutely, she will in other games as the season goes on, I'm sure. But what I liked about her was she showed no fear. Coming to a big club, young girl, as you said, and she was straight away. She wanted to attack, get past her player, get crosses in. Really exciting debut that was actually, and let's hope that she can really develop that side of her game. I thought going forward, she looked a lot more effective than Emily Fox. Emily Fox seems a better defender. We'll see when Smillas gets put under more pressure, but I thought going forward she was so direct, looking to go past the defender and whip a cross in, almost like a winger she played, didn't she? For those last minutes, and it was really exciting. I really enjoyed her performance actually, and let's hope that she doesn't get that attacking side of her game. I hope she's not told not to do it very often. I hope she's allowed to express that, because clearly it's a strength of hers, and it was great to see. And it was a great debut actually. And that was probably the only real positive to come from that game, wasn't it? Her performance when she came on, and let's hope we see a lot more of her in the next remaining games of this season, because I think she's got a real she's a real prospect, and I think she can be a really good player for us actually. And I can see her maybe developing further up the pitch, maybe rather than being a fullback. I can see her maybe playing more further forward. That seems to be her strength. But I say we haven't really seen her tested defensively yet, so maybe that will come later on as the season goes on, I suppose. But yeah, really impressed with her. You're right, and But going back to Chloe Kelly, actually, I think that has an impact on Leslie Russo, because if you think last season, second half of last season, how many Leslie Russo goals came from Chloe Kelly crosses? Quite a lot. And now, obviously, if I don't know what the stats are. Matt might know actually. Matt's good at the statistics side of it. He might know how many goals Chloe Kelly set out for Leslie Russo in the second half of last season. Even if it was 4 or 5, that's 4 or 5 goals that Leslie's not going to score this season without Chloe Kelly in the team. So that makes a big difference. So I think that she has been a big miss. That link up's been really good. It's been the same for England, hasn't it? Chloe Kelly set up a few goals for Leslie for England as well. So we have missed her. There's no doubt about that. But we should have enough quality anyway in the squad, and we have, not to have this much of an impact on Leslie's goals or the team's goals in general. We still got enough quality in the final third, so we should be doing better. We should be scoring more goals. We should be creating more chances. And the fact that we're not is something that really does need to be addressed by Renee and the coaching staff. We need to improve that. It has to be better. We've got to be with these runner games we've got coming up as a Champions League. If we can get into the quarterfinal of the Champions League, if we get through the playoff, which you expect we will, we're going to have to. We can't afford to, score as few goals as we are. We're going to have to create the chances. We're going to have to score goals, because otherwise we'll be out very quickly. So it's something that needs to be sorted out and it needs to be sorted out now, quite honestly. LG says Chloe Kelly is a better fit than Beth. She's more direct and decisive. Beth is too controlled and calculated, and either style of play is better. But for what we currently need, Chloe is the better choice. No, I kind of agree with you. Yeah, I think you're right. And I think they both, you're right, that they are both different, aren't they? I think Beth is always going to score more goals than Chloe Kelly. She gets herself into better goal scoring positions. I think she's a really good finisher, Beth, as well. She takes a lot of difficult chances. She does score a lot more goals. But yeah, in terms of as a wide player, what you want your wide player to do is beat a defender and put a cross in and set up chances. And Chloe Kelly is much better at doing that. There's no doubt. That's never been Beth's game, has it? She's never been that type of wide player. She's always looking to get on the end of things. She makes a run to the far post. She's very dangerous in the box. She's got good feet. She's intelligent in there, and she can score goals. And they are different players. And you're right. Maybe Chloe Kelly fits better for what we need, but I think Beth's got. She's had a great season, Beth, and I think she offers that goal threat. That's, we're talking about lack of goals. You've got a player who can score goals, so we need to find a way to get that to work for the team as well, don't we? But yeah, I think Chloe Kelly has been a big loss, definitely. And hopefully she can be back soon, and she can help the team, because we're just not looking dangerous enough. We are, as Matt said, I agree. We look too predictable. We're too easy to defend against, and you're never going to be successful if that's the case. You're just not. I think last season you could see the goals we were scoring. Teams were frightened to play us because we could score goals from anywhere. Now we've become easier to play against now. But we're still in everything. We haven't, it's one game. We had a good run before Christmas. We won a few games, and we started to look as though we were playing a bit better. So this might just be a one-off. We said if it is a one-off, it's fine. It hasn't been so far. But if we now go on a run after this, we learn from that, we start being a bit more direct and a bit more ruthless in that final third, then it will be a lesson that maybe we have learned from, and maybe Renee's learned from. LG says there, but Beth has scored 0 goals in the WSL this season. So enough about this Beth Mead move. No, she hasn't scored any goals in WSL this season. No, she hasn't. I mean, she's got a few in the Champions League and stuff like that. She does still score goals. And you're right, it's not 2022 anymore, but I think Beth's had a good season. I don't think it's a myth to say this season she's had a good season. Is she as good as she was 2022? No one said she is, but she's had a good season. I think we need to accept that. She's playing well this season. She is. And she will score some goals in the WSL. I'm sure they'll come. She'll get 3 or 4 in the second half of the season. And, for a wide player, that ain't too bad, really, is it? But anyway, at the moment, we need Beth Mead because Chloe Kelly's not fit. So, we need to use her a lot more and try to get to be more efficient and effective in that final third in the games that she does play. So, but anyway, so, the Man United game was frustrating. It was a wasted opportunity. But I say this week now, we've got games when we can't afford wasted opportunities. We're not going to get a second chance on them, are we? Starting, of course, tomorrow, the FA Cup, the competition that we haven't won for a very long time. It'll be 10 years. It's 10 years this year if we don't win it. This is a competition we have to do well this year. So there's a couple there that I say we haven't had that in our possession for a very, very long time. And it's something that we need to put right, quite honestly. We cannot go another season. At least let's have a decent go at it. You can't guarantee you're ever going to win the FA Cup because one defeat and you're out. It's a tough competition to win. But we need to have a real go at it this season. We haven't really had a decent run at it for a few years now. I know we reached the final, didn't we, when Chelsea beat us that time? We were really disappointing when it was played in December. But we haven't actually reached a May FA Cup final for a very long time, have we? We need to have a good run in it this year. And obviously, it isn't the easiest game. Cheltenham says, I think Villa will give you a tough game. Yeah, absolutely, they will. Villa will give a tough game. They've got good players. They're a good side. And they're starting to get some good results recently as well, haven't they? So, it won't be an easy game. I've got absolutely no... And they got a draw, of course, at the Emirates, didn't they, in the league earlier this season. That was another wasted opportunity from us, wasn't it? A game we should have won, didn't, and then we got punished at the end. So Villa know they can get a result against us, don't they? They'll come into the game with a fair bit of confidence that they can get a result. We're going to have to play well, obviously. We're going to have to... I don't want to see too much rotation as a squad necessarily. I want to see a strong team and really go for it and try and get through to the next round. I think we have to. Another cup defeat at home would be really frustrating and disappointing, especially, you know, last season we lost both cups at Meadow Park. We've now got 2 big games at Meadow Park in the cup this week, and it's like, is the history going to repeat itself from last season? I hope not. I mean, Andreas, what are you making of this Villa game tomorrow? Because obviously it's a massive game. The FA Cup is such a big competition. We need to do well in it, but it's not an easy draw, really, is it? Yes, we're at home, but it could have been a lot easier, couldn't it? We could have got the draw that Chelsea got.
Yeah, if you look on the other games in this round, Chelsea played Crystal Palace, and was it West Ham playing at Newcastle? So a lot of WSL teams got a good draw with teams from the second or third tier, and we have Aston Villa. That's a dangerous opponent, and I still remember the 1-1 in the WSL in, was it September, October. We didn't play well, and in the end, in stoppage time, we were begging for the equalizer, and they fulfilled our wish and scored in the 95th or 96th minute. It will be a difficult game, and Villa is coming to Meadow Park, and I'm sure they are convinced they can win against Arsenal, because they were watching our games and analyzing not only the last game against United, but also the games we were winning in December or before. And of course, they know it's possible to beat Arsenal at the moment, because and why? Because Arsenal is not scoring many goals. So if they defend well and score maybe 1 goal, then it could be enough. And that's the problem. It's not only that Leslie Russo is not scoring enough goals. It's not only that Beth Mead is not as effective as Chloe Kelly would be. It's also Frida Maanum is not having a good season. Caitlin Ford is not playing at her best. And now we are missing Kyra Cooney-Cross, who is with her family in Australia. And that's the next problem. Mariona has to play deeper, as we are missing Kyra. And so you have to bring on Frida or Vicky Pelova. And Mariana's, her creativity is missing in the number 10 position. So a lot of problems. And of course, we are at home. Yeah, maybe Meadow Park can save us, or the atmosphere there, and this home feeling. But anyway, you said last year we lost both cup games at Meadow Park against City and Liverpool. So last Sunday after the game, if you ask me what do you expect for the Villa game, I would have said we are going to lose. I don't see us win anything. Maybe this team is not as good as we think they are. They are not good enough for a whole season of 22 games to win anything. But they've proved and showed that they are able to concentrate on a one-off game, on a knockout game. Last season, they proved it in Champions League. So let's hope they will prove it again. If we lose against Villa on Sunday, then I don't see us having any chance against United. The self-confidence will be so low if we lose, if we go out in the FA Cup, that I don't see us beat United. So this is even more important. And the FA Cup, this is so special. And going out in the 4th round would be terrible for us.
Absolutely. No, you're right. And I may be a little bit more confident than you are about beating Aston Villa, but it certainly won't be easy. And we're going to have to, hopefully this week they've started working on a few things, especially in the final third, the way that we attack. Villa are a good side, and you're right. I think if we do lose to Villa tomorrow and we go out the FA Cup at the first round, if you like, that we're in it, then I do think that would be a really, really bad situation with the Man United game coming up again, because Man United won't fear playing us again on Wednesday, because they got a draw when they had 10 players. They certainly won't be frightened of us. I don't think Villa will be frightened of us either. You know, Villa will probably feel that that's not a bad draw for them. You know, obviously it could have been an easier draw. It could have been at home, and they couldn't have played one of the top teams. But they're not going to be frightened of playing us. They're going to be, you know, they'll be confident they can get something from that game tomorrow. And we need to. The onus is on us, the home team, to go out there and play well and win the game. But yeah, I think with Meadow Park, it's interesting that you say that, because I think the atmosphere at Meadow Park, you're right, is special, isn't it? Because, you know, everyone's close to the pitch. There's not a big crowd there, but it's really like intimate atmosphere, isn't it, at Meadow Park? It always is. And obviously that's can be a massive advantage. But I just feel now, over the last 2 seasons in particular, the team have got so used to playing at the Emirates on the lovely pitch, bigger pitch, that they struggle a bit more at Meadow Park with the lack of space and stuff like that. And the facilities there aren't as good for the players either. Let's be honest. I mean, Emirates is beautiful, isn't it? You know, what they've got there is amazing. And at Meadow Park, it's not. It's a non-league ground still. Although it's you know, it's a good non-league ground. It's still ultimately a non-league ground. The pitch isn't great. So I'm not always sure that it helps. It helps us now so much, but let's see. At the end of the day, it's still a ground that we know we shouldn't really make that as an excuse. We need to go out tomorrow and play well. It's going to be interesting for me though what the team selection is actually, because I think the FA Cup is massively important, and I think we need to take it seriously and pick our strongest available team. I wouldn't even mess around with it. Both of these 2 games, actually, I think, you know, get into a cup final. We've got an opportunity Wednesday to do that. We'll talk about it in a minute, but. And this game in the FA Cup, I think these are 2 really important games. I'm not saying any game's not important, but the position that we're in, and because it's a WSL team in Aston Villa they're not one of the bottom teams, they're a good side, we can't afford to take risks with the team selection in either of these 2 games. I want to treat these games seriously as though they're a WSL game or a Champions League game, in mindset for the manager to pick the team, the strongest available team. Don't mess around like we have done in cups before. We can't afford that tomorrow. We've got to go strong, and we've got to, you know, win that game. Do you think there'll be a lot of changes tomorrow, or do you think it's going to be largely the team from the WSL matches that we've seen recently?
Well, there will be one important change. Leah Williamson is out with a calf injury for a few weeks. So I read about 3 to 4 weeks. So this means she won't be available for the cup games, for the Chelsea game, and probably not for the Champions Cup. We don't know about the City game. But this is really important. And she's just back to fitness. And we saw how important she can be. She was very good against United in this part of the game when United was trying to do something. And this will be a big miss. Who will start? I think Lotta will start together with Steph Catley. Then not sure about Daphne. Renee said she's very close and they have to monitor her. She's in the training pictures, but my feeling is that Anneke Borbe will start again. And she made this fantastic save against United, so her confidence has grown, and I think the confidence of the team in Anneke Borbe has grown. So it will be okay if she starts. Then as I said, there are maybe the squad is not as good, or the squad depth is not as good as we all think, and just having now Leah out, Kyra not available, Chloe out, and we have problems. So with Kyra not available, we will play Kim and Mariana in the double pivot. And then who's starting as a number 10? Frida again. She wasn't good against United. So I would start Vicky Belova and try to give her a chance from the start. And then who's starting in the front 3? Beth, Olivia, and Lassie. Yes, you can't rotate. You must start them. And there's no question that Olivia has to start and Caitlin is on the bench. But where is the alternative? After 60 minutes, Renee will make a change and will bring on Caitlin and sub Olivia off, and then she will bring on Frida and sub Vic off. It's not depth. And I don't expect many changes except this unfortunate Leah injury. But is the team selection good enough? Is the squad good enough? It will be a very exciting game. And if you ask for the prediction, I say 1 goal will decide. And I hope this goal is on our side. So it's 1-0 to the Arsenal, and I'm hoping that I'm right. And in the end, it's a cup game, a knockout game. So if we score 1 and don't concede, then it's enough. And if you say after 90 minutes, well, not the best game, but we are through, well, let's move on. I say 1-0 to the Arsenal and hope that I'm right.
In cup games, you're absolutely right. You know, knockout cup competitions is just about the result ultimately. I mean, yes, I think we could do with a really good performance as well, because we haven't had too many of them, certainly recently. So it'd be nice to go out there and play really well and win. But ultimately, you're right. In a cup game, the FA Cup, just win the game. If it means a scrappy 1-0. If you remember that we were 1-0 up early on in the league game, we didn't get the second goal and it came back to bite us, didn't it? So we need to bear that in mind as well tomorrow. You know, if we do get the goal, we go 1-0 up, we have to kill the game off. Kill it off, don't sit back. Let's kill it if we get that opportunity. But yeah, no, you're right. I don't think there'll be too many changes. Lee is a little bit of a worry for me, actually. I've got to be honest with you. And yes, injuries can happen, and you know she's just back, and now she's got another one, which can happen because suddenly you've fixed your injury that you had with your knee, and then maybe you've caused other weaknesses elsewhere, and that's what's happened with her calf. By the look of it, we don't know what's happened there, but I mean, injuries do happen. But I'm starting to feel that Leah is more distracted away from football now. Her focus doesn't seem to be. Maybe that's because she's been injured, so we haven't seen her play. But you know, she's developed a lot of interest outside of football, hasn't she? I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned that she's maybe reaching the point where you know she's played for such a long time. You know, is she now finding other interests that might ultimately take her away from football? I don't know. I'm getting that feeling. She doesn't seem quite as focus. I mean, you know, when she's played the last couple of games that she's played all right. She looks okay. You know, she's not playing badly. But I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned about it, if I'm honest. I did say this last season as well. But anyway, you know, if she's fit, you got to play her because she's still a great player. But I'm a little bit worried about distractions off the pitch, maybe with her, which I don't know. That's probably not why she's getting injured, but I don't think the injuries are helping because it means she can't play. So she's got to find something else to do, like all injured players do. You know, you can't sit around, you know, feeling sorry for yourself. You've got to do stuff, haven't you? Because otherwise you'll go mad. So LG's made a point here. We need to have a conversation about Leah. She's injury prone and usually takes long to get to her best. She can also be complacent, especially not motivated. She's turning 29, so that's kind of the point I'm making. I mean, I actually feel that even going back maybe as far as the Euros in 2022, as though that was like almost the pinnacle for her, and I think she found it difficult to come back after that. She got injured that next season, didn't she? And she was out there for another year, so she didn't really get a chance to get a flow. Now she came back, won the Champions League. So again, that's like, you know, and then she's won the Euros again. It's like, what else has she got now to motivate her? And I think that because she's been injured a lot, she's found other interests outside of football. She's now got an American girlfriend as well. And I think that's a distraction away because she's injured as well. I don't know. I've got a feeling that I agree. I don't think she is quite as motivated for football as she was. And I think that's almost understandable. When you look at what she's won, two European titles with England and the Champions League with Arsenal, all in the last few years. And she's had a load of injuries in between all that as well. So she's played, won a trophy, won a trophy, injured. I don't know. It must be hard for her, but I've got a feeling that she's getting drawn away from football a little bit. But we'll see. If she can get a run of games and stays fit, maybe we'll all look at it differently. But I agree with you. At the moment, I'm a little bit concerned about her. And I said this last season as well. I said exactly the same last season, that she seems to be, you know, she's got a lot of other interests, which is great. That's not a problem. The only problem is when those interests seem to be impacting on, she's not available to play for us. And at the end of the day, if a player's not available to play for us, then, you know, they're no use to us, are they? Let's be honest. We need her fit, we need her focused, and we need her to be there for us because we need it, absolutely. LG says there, those Renee substitutes on 60 minutes, hooking off Smith and bringing on Ford and Steiner and dropping Russo deeper is as textbook as it gets. Yeah, that's why I'm not convinced about Renee going forward. Yeah, I mean, we've all said it before, and you're absolutely right. I'll totally agree with you. Agneta says bring Steiner and Smiller on, and they will fix it. Well, of course you'd think so, wouldn't you? Get all the Swedes on, that's fine. That's all we need. Get a few more Swedes in, that's what we need. Agneta says Leah out. Yes, he is, unfortunately, another injury. Ryan says start Steiner and bring Leslie on late. Yeah, see, I wouldn't mind that if we're going to change something. You know, again, Steiner is she's scored a few goals against Aston Villa. I wouldn't necessarily be against that, you know, Leslie's not playing brilliantly, but who else do it? The idea is play Mariona in the number 10. That's what should happen. And if we had Kyra, we'd have the opportunity to maybe do that. We don't, so unfortunately, we're a bit stuck. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? It is a tough one, but. I wouldn't mind that if that happens. I actually wouldn't mind that at all. Top Shelf says agree, shake it up. Yeah, we need to shake it up. Agneta's got 4-1 to Arsenal. That would be fantastic. That would be brilliant. That would be great, wouldn't it? LG said, I've said before, we only have depth in numbers. We have player profile issues. Yeah, I think you're probably right, actually. LG says coming back to the Leah point, Mertesacker said when he came back to Arsenal after winning the 2014 World Cup, he became less motivated because he already reached a pinnacle. Yeah, and it happens all the time. You see it a lot with players that win big stuff, and then it's difficult. How can you? You know, they're professionals and they should keep motivated, but it's tough, isn't it? You know, look what I say, when you just won the Champions League, having won everything else, Leah's won everything now with Arsenal, every competition that's possible to win, she's won. If we win this World Club thingy coming up, then what else can she do? Apart from win a World Cup with England, maybe. That's the only other thing left, isn't it? Because she missed the World Cup through injury last time when we got to the final. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. It's tough. It must be tough. But, you know, she's Arsenal through and through, and I'm sure she wants to keep going and keep winning more trophies. But yeah, I do think there is a motivation issue there. Absolutely, I think there is. I think it's off to watch the handball. European Championships, is it? Wow, fantastic. I must admit, I do enjoy handball. I remember watching it at the Olympics a few times. What I've done is I forgot to charge my laptop, and the battery's going to go. I'm going to have to get that plugged in, otherwise we'll have some big trouble. There we go. Right, so Andreas has gone 1-0 to Arsenal, which is fine. We'll win, go through, that'll do. Let's give us your score predictions as well. I think we'll win. I do think we'll win. I think we'll play better than last week. I'm going to go 3-1. I'll go 3-1. I think we'll score some goals this time and we'll go through, and then obviously that'll make a big difference for the game coming up as well, of course, in midweek. An opportunity to get to another final. It's an opportunity we have to take. So, of course, semi-final of a competition that, you know, we've done quite well in recent years, haven't we? We've won it twice in the last 3 seasons. And obviously we lost the semi-final last year at Meadow Park to Manchester City. Not a great performance that particular night. But the funny thing is, obviously, Andreas, you've said it a few times, when you play a team twice close together, the same team very rarely wins both games. So had we won the game last week in the league, then we probably wouldn't have won the cup game. But that was a draw. Maybe the odds are back in our favour. So nobody won that game. So either team could win this one anyway, I suppose. But, you know, looking at it from that point of view, maybe the fact we didn't beat United in the league means we've got more chance of winning the cup game now on Wednesday. I'm sure that wasn't the reason why we didn't win. But now it looks like maybe that might go in our favour a bit. And if we do beat Villa, everyone will get a boost and a lift, and then we can go into the Man United game on a bit of a high. We haven't lost for a while, and it will be. I'll be a lot more confident that we can go through. But again, we know Man United defensively they're strong. We know that anyway. The goalkeeper we've mentioned already. You know, I'm sure they're not going to make too many changes to semi-final or the cup. But we're at home again, and the onus is on us to win that game and reach the final. Obviously Chelsea and Man City in the other semi-final, so it's going to be an interesting final, isn't it, if we get through? But it'd be nice to play Man City in the final, just so it's a different team to play. But we've got to get through first. And again, are we going to I don't think it'll be the same starting 11 in the 2 games against Villa and Man United. I think there will be some changes between each game because we've got Chelsea next weekend, of course, and that's going to maybe play a little part in it. But I want to see us go strong in both the team selections and certainly the semi-final. It's a big opportunity, isn't it? Another cup final, be a 4th season in a row, get into a cup final, which is brilliant. And that's a good run. It's a good run to have, isn't it? And it's not the priority cup, no, but we're in a semi-final now, so let's win it and let's get to the final and let's hopefully go and win the cup again. I mean, Andreas, what are your thoughts on this game? I know obviously the Villa game may well play a part in how we feel about it on Wednesday, how we get on tomorrow, but at home in a cup semi-final, it's in our hands, really, isn't it, to get that job done and go on and hopefully win the cup again.
Yeah, you said this last year when we played at home in the semi-final against City, and we didn't use the opportunity. So, it's in our hands as it's at home, but we played United twice this season, and it was twice a 0-0 draw. So this shows it's extremely difficult to score against this defense. And Jade Riviere will be back. She has 1 game ban because it was only a 2nd yellow. So she will sit out this ban now on the weekend. She'll be back. And they have Maya Letizier and Dominique Janssen, both defended great last week. And we spoke about the goalkeeper, so a very good defense and very hard to break. But also, I think this game away, it's a good fit for United, as I expect, because when you see Fridolina Rolfe, Leah Schuller, Melvin Mallar, very, very dangerous attacking line. And we have to defend well if they play 11 versus 11 and don't sit down and then park the bus. I think we can expect a difficult opponent and changes. Yes, I expect Daphne to be back in goal on Wednesday against United, because then 3 or 4 days later the Chelsea game is waiting, and I'm sure Renee wants Daphne to be back in goal against Chelsea, so she will bring her against United. Maybe there will be changes in the fullback positions. Taylor Hines could start one of the cup games. Maybe Smiller gets a start against United or will come on earlier. But then where are the alternatives in midfield? You can't drop Kim and Mariana. They will both start. So who is the 3rd midfielder? Is it Vicky or is it Frida again? I think Frida will start against United again. Or will Renee risk something and play Leslie in the number 10 to start Ina in the number 9? There are not enough options. And once again, this is the problem of the squad depth. So, Wednesday night at the Emirates, at Meadow Park, a very good defending opponent. For me, it's going 0-0 again, and then going to extra time. Who will score then? I hope it's Arsenal, but I have the feeling it will be a replay or repeat of last year's Subway semi-final, and in the end, United will win 1-0 after extra time. That's my feeling. We're going through against Villa, but we're going out against United. I hope in this point I'm wrong.
I mean, I suppose out of the two, maybe it's difficult actually, because the FA Cup's a competition that we're the record holders of. We haven't won it for ages. We need a run in that. But if we could only win one of these 2 cup games and lose the other one, we had to pick one, you've got obviously the FA Cup's the FA Cup. We want to go through 100%, but then you've got a semi-final, a chance to be in another cup final. that's, okay, you could say it's the lesser of all the cup competitions that we're in, but it's still a cup final. And, this team have now, it's a good habit to have, isn't it? Playing in cup finals season after season. And I actually do feel a little bit, I think we can win both games. And I think as well, because it is a semi-final and because this team has experienced 3 finals in a row, most of these players have played in those 3 finals, that they're going to be extra motivated to get to another cup final. I think that the fact that we've played in cup finals in recent years, I think that's going to be the deciding factor in this game. You're right, there's nothing to choose between us and Man United. There's nothing at all. We know that. They can't score against us. We can't score against them. We kind of cancel each other out a little bit. But this is a cup game that somebody has to win one way or the other. Extra time, penalty. Is it extra time? Yeah, it's extra time, isn't it? Extra time and penalties if necessary. So someone's going to have to win eventually, one way or the other. And it's difficult to pick a winner in this game for that reason, because the 2 teams are so even. But I think that we'll have that slight little edge because, one, we're at home, but secondly, because we've played in cup finals recently, and the fact that they're going to want to experience that again. And I think that, I know Man United are playing cup final as well, but I think, we've had more experience of that. And I don't know, I feel that extra little percent that we might get from that might prove to be decisive in the end. And I agree. I think extra time is I'd almost guarantee this game goes to extra time. I don't think it's going to be a shock to anybody if it's 0-0 at the end of 90 minutes. I don't think anybody would be shocked by that at all. And I wouldn't be surprised. I actually think we'll nick it 1-0 in extra time, as we did against Man City a couple of years ago. But it could go either way, absolutely. But I just think we've just about going to have enough to go through and get to that cup final and see who it is that we face out of Chelsea or Man City. But yeah, I think we'll scrape through. It won't be pretty probably, and we're going to have to, dig in and work hard and get the job done. LG says there, Tim Stillman said the club actually attempted to move on a lot of players last summer, but a lot of them chose to stay. There was nothing the club could do because they can't chase contracted players out. Well, you can sell them, can't you? I suppose if you get an offer. I mean, clubs do it all the time, don't they? You can sell contracted players to another club. Okay, everybody's got to agree. We've got to agree. The other club's got to agree. The player, I suppose, ultimately has got to agree. It comes down to that as well. But did we have any offers for those players? When we may well have wanted to move some players on, I wouldn't necessarily think that that's beyond the realms of possibility. Did we get any offers for them, though? Did any clubs come in and make an offer for any of those players? And did the player say, no, I don't want to move? Or did we not receive any offers anyway? I don't know. I'd like Tim to maybe give us a bit more information on that. But we need to move some players on, don't we? We said this, didn't we, at the end of last season? We need an overhaul of the squad because one of the age of the squad, more than anything, and two, there's certain positions in the team that need strengthening, and too many players are a little bit too comfortable in the job. I think they are. We've said this, and I agree. But you're right. We can't just throw players out if they're under contract. We can't do that. We need someone to come in and buy them potentially, or whatever. But this summer might be different because a lot of those players are out of contract, aren't they? So that we're not going to have that same issue. If we do want them gone and they're out of contract, we just won't offer them a new contract and they'll be gone. And yeah, maybe that will happen. We'll see. It won't be interesting, won't it? If that's true, we'll find out how true it is at the end of the season if all these uncontracted players leave, but they don't get offered a contract. I think some of them will stay. I think one or two will get offered contracts and some of them won't. But let's see. That's all for the summer, really, isn't it? But yeah, that's interesting if that's how the club feel, that we've maybe kept players this season that we didn't really want. We wanted to replace and wasn't able to. It's not ideal, is it? Especially if it's the manager doesn't want them, that's even worse because the manager's got these players now, and maybe that's why some aren't playing as many minutes as others. Who knows? But let's hope it can be resolved at the end of the season because we can't carry on in that situation, can we? Because it's not healthy for anybody. It's not healthy for the players. It's not healthy for the team. It's not healthy for the manager, for the fans, nobody. So yeah, if that's true, let's get it sorted out this summer. Let's get the players out that we want to get out, and let's replace them. Get better players in. Build a new team, a fresh team that can challenge consistently at the top of the league in the WSL and everything else. That's what we need to do. But it's a big summer coming up. We'll look ahead to that later on. But we've got these 2 big cup games, of course, to come first, which I do think we'll win both. I do. I think we'll beat Aston Villa a little bit more easily, and then it's going to be a struggle against Man U. We know that, but I think we'll do it. I do. I think we'll do it, and we'll have a cup final to look forward to is it March, isn't it? I think the cup final, which is.
15th.
Do we know where's it being played this year? Have they decided yet?
In Bristol.
Oh, Bristol, Christ. Right, okay. Oh, well. Not ideal, is it? LG says that our problems don't just stem from the coach. We saw the same issues with Jonas and even at the back end of Joe Montemuro, structural issues, squad imbalance and lack of long-term planning. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I was never going to be surprised. I was never been surprised that a lot of the problems that we had with Jonas we've still got now, because Renee hasn't changed a lot. Actually, really, she hasn't changed loads of stuff. She's kept things very, very similar. We haven't had much turnover of players. We've had a few new players come in, but not major changes in the team, not major changes in the way we play, because Renee's worked with Jonas before, not only at Arsenal, but before that. So, of course, she's going to have very similar ideas to him. They wouldn't have worked together as long as they have previously if they didn't agree on lots of aspects of the way the game's played. So I was never expecting it to be much different. You're right about the structural issues in the club, though. I agree with that. I do think behind the scenes, that's where the biggest issues are. And obviously that then filters down to the team on the pitch, doesn't it? But you could say, we've won a trophy in 3 seasons in a row now. We've been runners up in the WSL twice in recent seasons as well. We're not being unsuccessful, but it's not. There's something missing, isn't there? We've said this. There's something missing in the team, in the club at the minute. It's not quite there. And Chelsea obviously have had it for years now. Man City seem as though they've got it now back. They're up there challenging, and we still don't seem to have got it. What do you think that is, Andreas? What do you think is missing? I think that's a good point. I think structurally in the club, behind the scenes, something's missing that hasn't enabled us to really push on, rebuild, and really challenge Chelsea on a more consistent basis.
Yeah, and the problem is the gap is getting bigger every year.
Yeah.
Last season we finished 10 points behind Chelsea, and now the second half of the season has just begun, and we are 10 points behind the leaders. So probably in the end we will have 15, 20 points behind Man City or who else is winning the league. So that's a problem. The gap is getting bigger, and we still have not only a Jonas squad, we have a Joe Montemuro squad. If you look on the names, there's still Leah, Lotta, Katie, Kim, Beth, Caitlin, all Joe Montemuro players. And it hasn't changed too much. You must bring in fresh blood, and you must change your squad every year, even if you are successful. The more when you are successful, when you're winning titles, then you have to make changes and bring in fresh blood. And we miss these opportunities. And we said a big miss is Chloe Kelly. Yes, and another big miss, and that's a big point, is 19-year young Katie Reed. She's a big miss. Now that Leah is out, we are thinking, who can play? Steph and Lotta. We have Leia Codina, yes, but we are missing a player like Katie Reed, and that's not the right situation. You shouldn't be in a position where you are missing a 19-year young prospect who just had her breakthrough. There is the balance in the squad is not good, and we every year we say next transfer window we have to have a big overhaul. This will be an important transfer window. We say this for years now, and we don't do anything. And now transfer window in January is still open. We signed Smiller, okay, a very good signing. I'm convinced this will be a prospect for the future. And now we see we have problems in midfield. We have the problem in centre-back position. We would need another winger. And what are we doing? We want to sign another goalkeeper, Laura Dick from Hoffenheim. If Daphne is close to return and will be back in these next games, and Anneke Borbe is also match fit, so why signing a 22-year young goalkeeper from Germany who just made it in the German national team, and was talented and prospect, but that's not our problem. We don't need another goalkeeper. We need a centre-back, we need a midfielder, we need a pacey winger. And that's what I'm missing in this transfer window and in the recruitment. I think there is a lot of problems in the way we are doing the recruitment, and we are waiting always for players who are out of contract. We signed free agent. Yes, we made brilliant business. We signed Leslie Russo, we signed Mariana as free agent. Fantastic. We signed Joey Kelly as free agent, Taylor Hines, and we invested $1 million for Olivia Smith. But always waiting for players who are out of contract. That's not the solution. If Renee is convinced that Georgia Stanway is the player she wants in midfield, then go to Bayern Munich and offer them £500,000, or £750,000 just to get her in January. If Renee is convinced this is the player who solves our problems in midfield. No, we are waiting for the summer. She's a free agent in summer, and then maybe Man United will sign her. Or if Chelsea has 1 or 2 injuries, they say, oh, we are going and throwing money on Georgia and sign her. And then we don't get her. Why didn't we go for a midfielder like Sam Coffey? She was under contract at Portland, and everybody said, she's 2 or 3 years under contract. She won't leave the US. She left the USA. And where did she sign? At Man City. We would need a holding midfielder. We didn't go all in for her. That's the problem in recruitment, but enough of critical words now.
No, you're absolutely right. And there does seem to be a recruitment issue, I think. There does seem to be a recruitment issue. Absolutely there is. Okay, yes, we're the first club ever to spend £1 million on a player. And almost, has that been done almost as a... because of all the free transfers that we've got, we maybe had some money that we could do it and make a statement and say, we will spend money. But have we... I mean, I love Olivia Smith, and I think she's going to be a great player for us, and I'm glad we've got her. But would we not have been better spending that money on 2 midfield players for the benefit of the squad? But I don't know. Georgia Stanway is an interesting one because obviously she's already said she's leaving at the end of the season, hasn't she? She's announced it. Obviously she'll come back to WSL. If Arsenal won her, I'm pretty sure she'd come to Arsenal. Fairly certain she would. But yeah, I agree. Let's try and get her now. Why wait till the end of the season when she's out of contract? There's going to be 100 teams after her, 100 clubs will be after her, and it makes it more difficult. If we go in now, yes, but the club won't do that. You're right, because they think, well, we can get her for free in 6 months. Wait till then. No, everyone can get her free in 6 months. Let's get the deal done now. But that maybe sums up where we are at the minute on a club. Are the club a little bit complacent, maybe? Are we a bit complacent, living off the reputation that we've got from the history that we've got of success, living off the fact that we've now got this massive fan base of, crowds that's coming game after game? Have we become a little bit? I think we have come a little bit complacent with it. We almost feel, well, we're leading lights, if you like, in women's football in this country because of how we've approached it, and that's right. But ultimately, what's going to start happening eventually, if it isn't already happened, really, on the pitch, other teams are overtaking us, and they may never have the fan base that we've got. They'll probably never will have, and they may never have that history that we've got. But on the pitch now, Chelsea have already overtaken us, left us behind. Man City look as though they're going to be doing the same. Man United have come from nowhere, a very new team, really, and even they catching up to us. And I think we need to understand that if you sit back you know, no matter how successful you are, if you sit back, you're gonna get caught out, you're gonna get overtaken, and that's what's happened to us. And it's been a steady process, obviously, probably since Vic Akers left. It started then, and obviously it's been slowly becoming more and more of an issue. And I do feel we are complacent. Absolutely, I think we are, and we can't afford to keep doing that, because if we do, we're finding it harder and harder it is to compete in the WSL every season, to compete with Chelsea. And the only way we're going to do that is to have a complete overhaul of the playing squad, the way that we're doing the transfers, you're right, the structure of the club. I think that's a big problem. I think you're right, but I can't see it changing. I really can't see it changing, not in the foreseeable future. I can't, honestly. It's a shame. LG says at the end of this season, 8 players will be 30 years and over. Yeah, exactly. But see, we've known this. We've been saying this on this show for 2 or 3 years, haven't we? The players that needed upgrading and replacing. Not even so much straight away. I mean, you could say, I mean, Kim Little is still playing really well, and she's still an important player in the team, right? But 3 years ago, I remember sitting here and saying it, you know, she's reaching the end of her career. We've got to have a plan in place for someone to replace her. And 3 years down the line, we still haven't. And it's not just her, is it? It's like you said, we've got 8 players who'll be over 30. And there's no plan in place. It doesn't seem to be. Okay, yeah, Olivia Smith's coming. She's younger. She can replace Beth, maybe, if you look at it like that, or Caitlin. But we should have been doing this 2 or 3 years ago. We should have been starting this 2 or 3 years ago. And by now, we wouldn't have 8 players that are over 30. We'd have 1 or 2 or 3. And we'd have a lot younger players in the squad. We would have evolved. And we haven't evolved, have we? You're right. This is still largely Joe Montemuro's. The basis of this squad is still the team that Joe had that won the WSL the last time we won the WSL. It's the core of the same group of players in that squad, isn't it? And that's wrong. Okay, we've won the Champions League with that same group of players now, but to me, almost like that should have been for a lot of these players, and maybe it proved to be, they're like last goodbye, if you like. Win the Champions League, they've won everything else, this group of players with the club, because they've been here so long. And now the Champions League was like, that's it now, we've done everything, now's the time to move on. And that should have, a lot of that should have happened last summer, and it hasn't. Will it happen this summer? Something's got to happen, quite honestly, you know. But let's see. But yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced there's going to be the multiple changes that we need in the summer. I just can't see it happening. That's not Arsenal's way of doing things, is it? It's just not. Joe says, I wonder if having a technical director will help move things forward. Yeah, I'm guessing that Claire Wheatley will step back a bit. Well, that's an interesting point as well, actually, because obviously this technical director is a brand new role at the club. We've not had one before. So maybe you're right. Maybe the idea of bringing Jodie in to do that role maybe is a change of structure in the background that might make a difference going forward. Maybe. We don't know, because it's just a brand new position that only got announced last week. But yeah, that's a good point, actually. Maybe that is the start of things changing behind the scenes, and maybe we will see some differences. I mean, Jodie hopefully can be the right person for that role. You know, let's hope so. She seems to know what she's doing. She seems switched on and intelligent, and I think she looks like she's a good choice for that role. But let's see. I mean, Andreas, obviously that was announced last week. Obviously, you wasn't on the show. What have you made of that technical director appointment of Jodie Taylor?
Difficult to say at the moment. I read that she's reporting to Claire Wheatley, so Claire is still the head of women's football business at Arsenal. So and Jodie Taylor should be the connection to the team and to the head coach, and she should be on the training pitch every day and be there for Renee to discuss things with about the team directly in the everyday business. Is she responsible for recruitment? I don't think so, but if she's the person to talk with a head coach, then I hope they will discuss how to develop the squad, or what do we need. If she's on the pitch, on the training ground every day, she will see things that work or don't work, and in discussion with Renee, maybe then she's the one to report everything to Claire, and together they decide what is possible, whom can we approach, or whom can we try to sign. Maybe it's important to have this new position, this added person between the head coach and the head of football. Yeah, let's hope. And Jodie knows the structure. She knows Arsenal, and she had 2 stints as a player with us. So I hope she's Arsenal bound and wants to develop something. And as far as I read, she has not only the background as a player, but also she has the coaching license, and she studied economics. So yeah, let's give her a chance. On the other side, I thought it would have been good to bring someone from the outside. Maybe this would have been also a good idea, to bring someone from the outside who is really new to everything, and who breaks up structures or old-fashioned things. But anyway, we should give Jodie a chance. And as we say for years now, the next transfer window is massive and should be massive for us. I hope that we will not sit here in September and say, okay, let's hope for the next transfer window. This will be important. No, now it's counting. For me, this transfer window in January seems to be a lost chance again. But yeah, let's hope with the new structures things will develop better. And I say give Jodie a chance in this new position.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we need to see how it's going to develop. But it is a change, I suppose, of some structure behind. Yeah, I agree. I don't think she's going to be doing much. The transfer business won't really be her role, I don't think, directly. She might have a say in it, potentially. But yeah, let's see how it develops. We don't know too much about it yet, do we? We know that it's just been announced last week. Let's see what Jodie's role becomes and what she can bring. Let's hope it's going to be positive, because, you know, it'll be good if it can work. But yeah, it looks like the club are maybe trying something different in that kind of side of things, and let's hope it works, because, you know, why not? Joe says there, I think it's tired. The time has come to ship Catley, Ford and McCabe. Catley is so left-footed. With the improvement of opposition, it's really showing how limiting that is. You see, I mean, I kind of agree to a certain degree that those 3 players are 3 of the ones that we should be looking to replace. Absolutely, I agree with you. But I don't. Why do left-footed players seem to get more criticism for being one-footed as opposed to right-footed players? How many right-footed players are strong on their left side? None. Well, not none, but very few. But yet, if you're a left-footed player, it's always mentioned. You know, Steph Catley's very left-footed. Yes, she is. She's very left-footed. But a lot of players in that team are very right-footed, and I don't see anybody criticising them for that. So why are we criticising her because she's very left-footed? I'm not saying that, you know, I think as a professional footballer, you should be able to kick with both feet equally. It should be part of the job. But everybody's got a stronger foot, haven't they? And I don't necessarily think that's not necessarily the reason why we should be looking at getting rid of Steph Catley. I think the reason why is because, you know, we need better players in the squad and younger players in the squad, and that happens to everybody. But I'm not having it about left foot at all. LG says, Tim also said Arsenal were looking for physical profiles, which is a positive sign. Yeah, I think that's obvious as well, isn't it? Let's be honest. You know, when we look at some of the games that we've had against Chelsea in particular, against some of the more physical teams, that's where we've had issues. I thought we did well when we got Rafaela in. She was that physical presence that we haven't had really, and then obviously she's now left and we haven't replaced her. You're right. Yeah, we do need that as well. But let's see. At the end of the day, talk is all very well, isn't it, for the club to say this and to say that. And, you know, people that Tim's speaking to, I know he's obviously in with a club, isn't he? So he's speaking to the right people. But what they say is one thing, but the actions that happen, that's another thing, isn't it? So, you know, let's hope that these things do happen. But the evidence up till now hasn't really suggested that that's the case. But, you know, maybe this Jodie Taylor appointment is showing that maybe things are going to be changing behind the scenes and moving forward. Let's hope so. But yeah, I think obviously we've still got half a season to play, and it's a big half a season to play with a lot of trophies at stake still until maybe this time next week, where maybe there won't be any, well, not as many left. But it is going to be a big summer. Absolutely, it's going to be a big summer, and I think some of these players may well be already planning for what their future might be away from Arsenal, because it needs to be a big summer. There does need to be a change in the squad. We need to, unfortunately, lose a few players that have been great servants to the club, and we do need to bring in some better players, some younger players, and really start, maybe more physical players. You're right. Georgia Stanway would be a start, wouldn't it? In that sense, you know what I mean? Because that's exactly what her strength, one of her strengths is. So that would be a step in the right direction, wouldn't it, to get Georgia in? So, but yeah, let's see. At the minute, it's uncertain, I think, what direction the club's going to be going in now. It's a bit uncertain. But the fact that Jodie's in, the fact that there seems to be talk of other things going on is a positive. But until it happens, we don't know, do we? There's a transfer window open now. You know, there is still, it's still open. Let's make some opportunities in it. We need a couple of players in. Let's get a couple of players in. You know, the right players, obviously, in the right positions. But we're still short, aren't we, in midfield, definitely. And like you said, centre back possibly as well, with Katie Reid out for the rest of the season, Leah now out again. You know, Steph, I don't think that's her best position, if I'm honest. Anyway, centre back. I think when she was playing left back, being so left-footed probably wasn't as much of a problem, because you're on that side of the pitch anyway. Maybe playing centre back, it becomes more obvious, I suppose. And I don't think that's her best position. She's played well there overall, but I would rather see a proper centre back playing there personally. As champions of Europe, we shouldn't be having Steph Catley as a left back playing centre back pretty much all season, should we? We shouldn't be. But anyway, let's see what happens. The rest of this window, I'm not optimistic that too much more is going to get done, if I'm honest. And obviously a massive summer to come. But before all of that, we've got some really, really big games, including, I mean, what a week this is when you think about it. Aston Villa in the FA Cup, Manchester United, a semi-final of the Subway Cup, and then, of course, next weekend we go to Stamford Bridge to play Chelsea in the WSL. And yes, maybe the title's gone from us. I still don't believe it has quite yet. But imagine if we go to Stamford Bridge and win next week. Imagine if we do that. Christ, that would really throw the cat among the pigeons, wouldn't it? And we're capable of doing it. We are. Have we got the strength of character to do it? That is the problem. We'll talk about it on next week's show, obviously, looking ahead to that game, because it is going to be a massive game, as it always is, and a game that, you know, we need to win, quite honestly, don't we, if we're going to keep ourselves in with a chance. But yeah, let's hope we can get these 2 cup games won this week, because I think, you know, it'd be nice to. It keeps the season ticking over nicely, doesn't it? If you're still in the FA Cup, we've got a cup final to look forward to. It keeps things bubbling over nicely. We've got the World Cup thing to come as well, the end of this month. More exciting things happening. Do you know what I mean? It keeps the season alive. And, you know, we may not win the WSL this season, but if we keep ourselves in all the cup competitions, everybody's going to be excited still, and that's what we need. So it's a big week. It's probably the biggest week of the season, actually, I think, with these 3 games coming up. The biggest week so far this season. So let's get the 2 positive results first, and then I'll say next Friday you're not coming to the Chelsea game, are you? You won't be. No.
I'm available on Friday.
You'll be here Friday.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, good. Right. Yeah, we'll do the show Friday then next week. We'll actually get it on the right day this time. But yeah, obviously we'll have a lot to talk about next week. There's 2 big games and the Chelsea game to preview as well. Wow, it's going to be a big week. But let's hope that we go into the Chelsea game on the back of 2 big cup wins, and I think that's so important that we do, because then it builds momentum, it builds confidence, and then we can go to Stamford Bridge full of life and full of desire to win that game, and let's hope that we can. LG says Vicky's another one who is on the firing line. Competition increased and the squad evolved while she was sidelined, and when she came back, the clock just kept ticking. Time waits for no one. She's 27. Now, you're right, but I do feel as though you say that, but the competition hasn't really increased in midfield, has it, in the time she's been out? So I actually don't necessarily agree that's the case. Yes, she's a year older than she, well, 2 years older technically, never enough. But I still think when she gets her rhythm back, I think she's still going to be a great player for us to have. And I don't necessarily think that the competition hasn't. You could say the competition's decreased because Leah Volti's gone. And we haven't really replaced her, have we? So technically the competition's decreased in her position. She's got to do better, and she will. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily pick on Vic. I'll give Vic more time. She had been out for a long time. It's tough, isn't it? We've seen how long it's taken, everybody else to come back from her injury. So we can't expect anything more from her. I think we just need more time. She just needs more time. For me, I still, she was brilliant in that last season before she got injured. She was fantastic that season, and she can reach that level again because she's still got time on her side. Yes, she's not 21, 22, but I've still got faith that she can, and I think I'm not worried about Vic necessarily. If all the players that we're going to get rid of, I hope she's not one of them. Actually, I hope we keep her because I still think she can do a good job for us. But let's see. At the end of the day, we'll see who does stay. Joe says, we're really missing Wally. Why we didn't keep her to at least the end of the season, I don't understand. Well, obviously she wanted to go, didn't she? She got the offer. She wanted to go, and it was mentioned before, wasn't it, that we wanted some players to leave and they didn't want to go. In Leah's case, it was the opposite. We wanted to keep her, but she wanted to leave. There's nothing you can do, is there? I don't think it wasn't that we didn't want her to stay. I'm sure we did. I'm sure we did everything we could to convince her to stay, but she didn't want to. She wanted to leave and new challenge and stuff like that. And you have to sometimes accept that, don't you? But the mistake wasn't letting her go. The mistake wasn't replacing her. That was a mistake. That's ultimately what we should have done. We didn't have much time in the window, but we had enough time to have got something sorted out, and we didn't. And that's the problem, not keeping or not keeping. We have missed her. We've missed her more because we didn't replace her, and that's the bottom line, unfortunately. But look, it's a big week, and I know we may be a bit down on things at the minute because it's more frustration than anything. We know that the club's better than this. We know this team's better than this. We've got more ambitions for it. I'm sure everybody at the club has. We are the biggest club. We're certainly the biggest club in England, and we now having won the Champions League. You have to say we're now one of the biggest clubs in Europe as well right now, and we all expect more. And the club seems to be treading water a little bit. And it's not, I don't know, we all want more, don't we? But let's see, it's a big week. If we get through these 2 cup games, we then go to Stamford Bridge and win. Wow, imagine how excited we're going to be. We won't be sitting here moaning about all the direction the club's heading, no. If we win these next 3 games, we'll be over the moon. So, let's, it's not all doom and gloom. It's just at the minute, obviously, last week's game was really frustrating and not too much at the minute has given us much to be positive about, really, has there? Going into these 2 games. But let's see, if we win them both, it'll be happy days, and I'm sure next Friday the mood will be a lot lighter if we come out with 2 fantastic victories, a cup final to look forward to as well. So yeah, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I would rather not ignore the problems and the issues, just to have, to be positive all the time. If things aren't going great or things could be better, that's what we need to talk about. It's no good saying, oh yeah, well, it's all right. Well, we're 3rd in the league at the minute with this, that, and the other, Champions of Europe. Yeah, that's all great, but there are issues and stuff that needs to improve if we're going to progress forward as a club and be successful, properly successful, consistently again at the very top of the game. So yeah, but it's a big game tomorrow, so let's enjoy that one first. Let's get the FA Cup run going, because a trip to Wembley in May would actually be quite cool, wouldn't it? Let's be honest, to see us play that cup final again. It's been a long, long time. And that's what we need to do. So let's win tomorrow first. Let's get that game done, and then we'll see exactly where it takes us after that. So yeah, that's I know, a slightly different night for the show, but it seems like most of you guys managed to find it and join us, which is good. So thank you for your comments as always. We will be back, of course. Well, I'll be back on Wednesday for the Manchester United game. So join me for that at 1. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff, isn't it? So I'll be about 6:45, 10 to 7 for that one. And of course, next Friday we'll be here for the show, looking back on the cup games, looking ahead to Chelsea. Oh, it's so exciting! I love and hate playing Chelsea in equal measure, because of how important the game is and we don't win enough. Joe says, that's why I love this channel. We can have healthy debate. And yeah, exactly. And that's what it's about, isn't it? For me, I don't want to ignore problems and pretend everything's all, sunshine, when there are issues that need to be talked about, and we should talk about it. You're right. So I'm glad that you are, you kind of see that as well, which is good. LG says that Mariona came in while Vic got injured, and she's similar to KCC and Mariona. If you want to keep KCC, you can't keep Pullover. Stanway and Reutler are also 27, have higher ceiling. No, it does depend on who we bring in. Of course it does. But as things stand at the minute, I don't think Vic's the problem. If we do bring in players in the summer in that position that are better than her, obviously that's football, isn't it? But at the moment, and Mariona's not shouldn't be playing in that position anyway, should she? Mariona should be playing higher on the pitch anyway. For me, I think. But anyway, Renee seems to like her playing there for some unknown reason. But that's the thing about that documentary, which is great. But when you see what Mariona was doing last season, it's like, why have you taken her away from that position? Why have you done that? Everyone can see now, not that we didn't see it anyway, but watching that documentary back makes you even think of it even more, doesn't it? How brilliant she was playing further up the pitch last season. So put her back there. That solves 50% of our problems straight away, I think. Personally, but anyway, I'm sure that's not going to happen anytime soon unless we bring in players in this window that can play in that position. Maybe that may be where we've missed Wally actually more, because what it's meant is Mariona's had to play deeper, and that's had a massive detrimental impact on our attacking football this season. Maybe that's the biggest reason for that. So maybe the Wally situation is connected to it. But anyway, we need to find a solution to it, because we've got a lot of stuff still to play for. We need to get it right, because at the minute it's not quite working, is it, as effectively as it should. But anyway, so yeah, I say thank you very much for joining us on this rather strange evening. I'm glad you managed to find us as well after the men's game, which probably wasn't the best. It wasn't the best game, was it? But anyway, at least we didn't lose, I suppose. Another 0-0 draw. Seems to be a lot of them. The Liverpool game, the Arsenal women against Man United, seems to be lots of 0-0 draws lately, which ain't great, is it? But hopefully tomorrow there'll be goals at the right end, and we'll have a few to celebrate tomorrow. So enjoy the game tomorrow. If you are going to Meadow Park, enjoy it. It's going to be good, I'm sure. And of course, Wednesday night as well. We'll be here for that one, and we're looking forward to that. Of course, Andreas, good to have you back with us. Of course, I had to miss last week and almost missed this week, actually, because I thought you was away. But anyway, we got it sorted in the end, so it's good to have you back. You enjoyed the show?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. And I think we had a lot of rant in this show today, but that's our task in a talk like this. I think we have to be critical, and it shows that we are Gooners through and through, and we live the Arsenal, and I want to be successful with my team, and of course I'm emotional, and after a game like last Sunday I'm disappointed, and but once again I think it's our task to be critical and speak open about problems we see. And so I'm glad that I had the chance to give my opinion again, and I would prefer to see the team winning every game, and then it's easier to talk and say, everything's fine. It's the blue sky is above our team and everything is going well. Let's hope so. If not, I will always be critical, and I enjoyed the discussion with you and with our viewers. And once again, thanks for having me, and everybody have a nice weekend, and let's get the fingers crossed tomorrow.
Yes, it is, exactly. And you're right. At the end of the day, we want the best for the club and the team, and if we can see things that aren't quite right that we think can be improved, let's talk about it. Why not? At the end of the day, the other alternative is to not talk about that, and then what's there to talk about? The games. But for me, it's deeper than just one result or two results on the pitch. It's more about that overall bigger picture, isn't it? So that's why we tend to discuss these things. And sometimes it's not always going to be sunshine and flowers. It's not, because that's the nature of football. Even for Chelsea, if Chelsea had enough fans to actually create a podcast like we have, then I'm sure they would have discussions some weeks where it wasn't always great, even though they've won all the trophies that they've won, because not everything's always great in sport, is it? Things go up and down, and you have good times and bad times. But the point is, you're absolutely right. We just want the best for the club, and if we see things that's wrong, we'll talk about it. And hopefully in the next week we'll have some positive stuff to talk about, because we've had two big cup wins and we've got Chelsea to come. So it is what it is, and we'll enjoy it. But thank you to all you guys anyway, I'll say, for finding us tonight, because I say it's unusual, but we will be back usual spot on Friday next week. It's going to be a big show, that one. Wow, what a lot to get through next week there's going to be with all of those big games that's coming this week. So I say enjoy the game tomorrow if you're there, or if you're not, you're watching it on TV, whatever you're doing, enjoy the game. Hopefully we'll win. We'll march on towards Wembley, and hopefully this time next week we'll be sitting here on the back of 2 big wins and 3 big wins would be nice, wouldn't it? Because obviously it's the Chelsea game Sunday, isn't it? Or is it Saturday?
Chelsea's Sunday.
Oh, it is Sunday. Good.
Tomorrow it's Sunday.
Yes. Good. Yes, Sunday. So hopefully this time next week we'll be looking forward to hopefully a big win against Chelsea. So yeah, thank you for watching. Obviously, thanks to Andreas as always. Thank you to you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so. I will see you Wednesday for the Man United game. Enjoy the weekend, and we will see you very soon. Come on, you Gunners. Let's do it. Come on. Let's do it. No messing around. Let's get through. Wembley is on the way in May.
Bye.
See you later, guys.